Here we go.
You're tuning in to Will Love Listen. Now listen.
Hi, Giorgia Whigham.
Hi.
It's a pleasure to speak with you. Thanks for taking the time out.
Of course. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You are probably a busy bee with the premiere of this TED series. How's that been going? All the
Oh
press.
my God. It's just been amazing. I've had the most incredible time. It's really great reuniting with everyone again, and the feedback we've been getting is just so exciting. And I'm just really happy to see how much people love every single character, but to put all your hard work into a series like this and to be playing Blaire and hear the feedback on her is really special as well.
Ted and Ted 2 are such an iconic, there's such iconic movies. And the fact
Right.
that now it's a series is incredible. So, how did you get the role and how was it filming the series?
Yeah, I mean, so getting the actual role was, I mean, me and Max have talked about this so many times because it's something so special to us. Like I've said before, when Seth is interested in something or, he has an idea for a character, he knows exactly what he's looking for. So me and Max both just sent in one single tape for the roles. And we got a call from Seth that like a personal call on our cell phones, just he was letting us know that we got the roles and it was really special. And then filming the series was incredible. I've worked with Scott Grimes before, and it was just really cool to kind of see him in a completely different element than he was on the Orville, because that's where we worked together last. So it was incredible.
How long did it take to film the first season?
Oof. I want to say we started end of July, like in the last 2 weeks of July, and then we went until I remember we got out right before Thanksgiving. So, one of the couple of days right before Thanksgiving. So it was about, July to November.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good amount of time.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. It was interesting to use all that time without the main character of Ted actually being there for us to work with. It was fun.
Now, it's a very funny series. And I love it. But for people who haven't checked it out yet, how would you say like the series differs from the films? And what do you like about it? Oh,
Yeah,
assuming that you obviously watched the first two movies.
yeah, I did. And I was such a big fan of both of the movies when they first came out. I was probably a little too young to even be watching the first one, honestly. Um, but I was a big fan of both of those. And then I think the way that this kind of differs is that it's a bit more family oriented, which I was really drawn to. It was a little more like, I don't even want to say the word sitcom-y, but it kind of has that vibe of like all in the family, everyone's together, and it's not, it's a little bit more, not grounded in that aspect, but youthful, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Because, we see young John, and he's going through puberty, going through, all his crazy emotions and stuff. And so I think it's really fun to kind of see him experience that, having seen the movies and knowing where he ends up. So yeah, that was really fun. I think I love the movies and the show equally, but I will say, I think that the show kind of has a youthful, fun 90s quality to it.
Which I love. There's a lot of 90s nostalgia that's coming back. Um,
Totally.
so I think the timing was perfect. And I really do. And I also think that there's definitely potential for this to be like a longer running series, multiple seasons, etc. So could you speak on that?
There's no immediate, plan to do anything, so far that I've heard. I mean, I hope so. I think that this was, probably the most exciting thing that I've worked on so far in my career. And it just kind of the family we created on that set. I would just kill to be there again with them. So I really do hope that there's news soon because and also the feedback we've been getting is just amazing. It's something that none of us really expected, you know? I mean, you hear prequel, and there's so many of those these days where maybe it turns out this way, maybe it turns out not as good, but people are really liking it, so that's very exciting. Just kind of waiting, kind of hanging around and waiting. I don't have any update thus far.
Okay. I definitely think that it could and should be a multiple season project.
Thank you.
Um, because it's like you mentioned, it's different than what's out there. I mean, there are so many remakes these days, reboots, prequels, etc., but a lot of them don't match up to the original or originals. But in this case,
Right.
yeah, exactly. But in this case, I feel it does. So props to that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I agree with you, and that's me trying to be unbiased. But I think I do agree. I think and the people that have been reaching out to me have been telling me kind of the same thing. So that's really exciting to hear, especially from people who you haven't heard from in a long time. They're reaching out saying, "Oh, it's kind of like bringing me back nostalgia, not only for the 90s, but for the films too, because the films, they were in 2012 and they were a while ago now at this point. So they're loving that.
Yeah, definitely. I love everything about it. And looking at your resume, I mean, you've had like a very diverse like acting background. I know 13 Reasons Why, The Punisher, Scream, The
Mhm.
Orville. So, and
Mhm.
now the TED series. So, what is your favorite projects that you've worked on? And then secondly, where do you sort of hope to take your career from here?
Oof, that's hard. I think that this TED is probably the most maybe, because we created such a very tight-knit bond with all of each other that I think that's one of the most special things about it, but that really has a special place in my heart. I would say that it's hard to choose a favorite, but we definitely kind of got that just friendship down, and the back and forth was very there. I would say Punisher as well. John Bernthal, he was just incredible to work, side by side with, and he really kind of taught me what it meant to be number one on a call sheet and how to command a space but be kind, and everybody loves him, and he is just probably like the kindest person I've ever met in my whole life, which is ironic because that show is really intense. And he always plays these really intense characters, but he just really kind of taught me how to be on a set and know everyone's name, be respectful, be kind, but know your stuff and come ready. And I think that's also what we all did on TED. We came every single day super ready, super prepared. Um in terms of where I want to take my career from here, I never really saw myself doing comedy. So this is really kind of exciting for me that people are responding the way they are. I would love to do something kind of grittier in the near future, like like an A24. I love Derek Cianfrance. Like he's probably one of my favorite directors. I would love to work with him at some point. It's something like that, like a little more gritty maybe. But I also love the comedy world because I think it just kind of lets me have a good time every day on set. So that's great.
Yeah, I feel like the comedy genre really suits you. Having
Thank
just
you.
series. Yeah, I definitely think so.
Thank you so much.
Flipping the sort of questions, what are some of your favorite as a viewer, from a view you being an actress, what are some of your favorite movies or television shows today?
Okay, so that's a crazy question. Me and my friends have been talking about this a lot recently. Like I just said, Derek Cianfrance is one of my favorite directors. So I'd say Place Beyond the Pines is one of my favorite movies of all time. I really love this movie called Raw by Julia Ducournau. She's this I believe French or Belgian. I can't remember, but it's very diverse. It's a French cannibal movie. So but it's really beautifully shot and acted. That's one of my favorite movies. Oh gosh, I want to say like those two. Oh God, of course I'm gonna draw like Goodfellas, old Robert De Niro. I love like gangster mob movies. Those are always like some of my like Casino, those are great. And then for television right now, it's tough. I am really into Yellow Jackets right now, so that's really cool. I like that genre. It's ironic, like I'm doing comedy, but I'm into these really kind of scary, like scary TV shows and movies. I really like Yellow Jackets. I love The Sopranos, one of my favorites of all time.
Yes.
I love that. I love a good mob story. I'm not gonna lie. I'm from the East Coast. I'm from New York originally. I just love that kind of vibe.
That's like me, New Jersey. So I
Yes,
get
you
it.
you totally get it. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else, but as from the top of my head right now, of course I draw a blank every time I get this question on an interview. But yeah, I would say like those are some of my favorites right now.
I think it's all good picks because like I'm really into
Thanks.
similar stuff. Like I like the horror genre, especially like the suspense and unsolved shows and movies. Um,
Ooh,
and I do like
yes.
the mob stuff. So, and this is the
I'm
20th
a big horror person. Yeah, I love horror movies.
and this is the 25th year anniversary of the Sopranos series.
There we go. I
Yes.
knew it. That's exactly why I chose it.
So,
Oh man.
what's next for you?
I honestly, it's the life of an actor. You do your thing and then you kind of just wait to go audition and see what happens next because it's funny as an actor with no official next thing. You kind of just have to it's the grind, you go back to work. You try and perfect your craft as much as you can. Not perfect it. There's no such thing as perfecting your craft, but you try and work on it as much as you can. I'm going back to acting class right now. Working with my acting coach, auditioning, the basics, it's kind of you get back down to it because there's no guarantee of anything. And so you just kind of try to keep it as genuine as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. That has to be a tough, it has to be like the tough thing about acting is it's so unpredictable, the business.
Right. I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's funny, you hear, oh, Ted's out, so that must mean this, and that for you. And it's never quite that way. You always have to stay true to the work, is my opinion. And the way that my dad always taught me is staying true to the craft and trying to always get better. What can I improve? How can I dig deeper? So that's what I'm kind of working on right now.
And you come from a family that's in the business. So like what were some good
Mhm.
tips that you received growing up or breaking into the industry?
Definitely that one from my dad. It's just again, like he always warned me, it's so unpredictable. And I remember I got my first job ever on a guest star on Shameless, and I quit my job and I was like, I'm out, I'm good. Like I did it, I made it, and I didn't work again for a year and a half. And just through that process, it was always okay, well, you got to go to class, you got to dig deep, you got to read, you have to read, be curious, stay available to life because that's where acting always comes from, is just drawing from things that you see and experience in your day to day. So that was big for me. And just the work ethic, working hard. I've been on my own since I was 18. I've been financially independent since then, and I've just kind of learned that from my dad, just staying very open, very curious, but very hardworking.
Good tips, honestly. And kudos to like getting like your act together so early on.
Thanks. It was hard, but I did it.
Yeah. Now, in closing, is there a particular director, producer, or actor that you haven't worked with yet that's on like your vision board that you really hope to work with?
Yeah, let me think. Like I said, for whatever reason, Derek Cianfrance has been coming to my brain because I think Place Beyond the Pines has been really on my mind lately. I just rewatched it with my brother. So it's been on my brain. I love his style. What else? I think, oof, that's tough. I mean, obviously Scorsese would be great. It's like it's all the greats. I'm trying to think of somebody kind of a little more niche though. My dad has worked with this director. His name is Tim Van Patten. He's an amazing television director, and that would be somebody I would love to work with because I think his episodes of television, he did The Sopranos, he did Boardwalk Empire. He's just amazing, and I would love to work with him. There's so many more. Of course, I blank and I don't. Of course, but I think those are three kind of off the top of my head. I think I just watched Barbie for the first time. I think Greta Gerwig would be pretty cool. That'd be very cool because I'm a bit upset that she got snubbed at the Oscars,
Oh,
for
yeah,
her.
a lot of people are.
That was a bit of a bummer. I cried, I think, like 5 times during that movie, like sobbed my eyes out. It was so impressive. Yeah, I think, those are a couple off the top of my head.
Well, those are good picks. Very good picks.
Thanks. Thank you.
Well, I hate to wrap this up, but I know you gotta go. But it's so nice to speak with you. Good conversation, good vibes, and it's nice to speak to like another East Coaster, especially someone that
Thanks.
grew up so close to me because I grew up just
Oh,
outside of the city in Bergen County. So
yeah,
we have the
okay. I know
same taste in
exactly.
movies and television, I see.
Very cool. No, thank you so much for having me, and this was really nice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And obviously, like I'll tell Caitlin and tag you and everything when it all comes out.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Will
Thanks.
and Georgia.
Yep. Bye, Will. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.